Good morning. Morning at 1:52 British Standard Time. Fantastic. Don't know why I'm up, but it's just good. Scenes for the Mage venue. There was a couple of days ago, there was a conversation between two ancient spirit masters. Well, one ancient and one relatively new, but has ancient power within him, about the storm that came and went and that was dealt with by children and grandchildren of some high and ancient breed of species that the man wasn't too aware of. The Tellurian is laid out for him, and he looks with his mind and his perceptions to try and find allies, friends that might be needed in the near future. There was one that assisted him when he awoke as a John Doe in a hospital as a potential coma patient before he escaped back to his home. Rupert. His soul isn't on the grey world. The perceptions seem to be unable to find him. Now, Edwin doesn't know too much about Rupert in terms of his powers, but he's never had an issue with tracing his energies before. So he decides to take a journey, flying high. Well, the powers are of the Hermetic Order behind him in the realm of the Umbra. He flies over the sky of the world, checking in New York City, sees a large building, very much like an ivory tower. And one thing that catches his perceptions is the fact it glows. Well, this is no ordinary glow of sunlight that's reflected off of mirrored glass or some kind of special effect that's going on. This appears to be energy from another source. Now, this energy has a resonance, a key to it, a flavor, if you will. Now, even though his perceptions and his experience with Rupert aren't, well, he wouldn't call him a deep friend, but he recognizes that resonance. These barriers are strong, and even a master would take some time to break through them, alerting everybody to his presence and damaging some good magic. So he falls to the ground, landing softly, finds a location that won't trigger any witnesses, brings himself across the sky and the world into the grey one. The noise of midday traffic, early noon traffic, our assaulted senses, and you can hear the familiar tones of Americans shouting at each other. This is New York, after all. There's always going to be some pissed off New Yorker somewhere. So he walks around to the front entrance. The automatic doors of the Woolworth building open wide and disgorge a group of people going in and out about their business. And he saunters in, wearing some utilitarian jeans and a short-sleeved shirt, totally not suitable for something so posh and high-rise as this place. He immediately gets spotted by one of the concierges and has a conversation, in which case he asks for Rupert. Now, when you ask for the master and in his home, well, of course you can use him by his name. The face of the concierge drains white, and he takes the time to go and pick up a phone and ring the penthouse suite at the top. Edwin's sitting there thinking, Rupert will be down shortly. I found a friend eventually. And that's when the phone rings.
As this unfamiliar presence enters the ivory tower, as it were, a sort of alarm goes off in the penthouse suite. Nothing terribly loud, nothing that would draw attention, but the computer screen lights up. Warning, deviant on the premise. Having figured out what this means by now, Tommy hops up and waits by the phone for somebody to most likely inform her that someone else is beating up on her security staff. She's pleasantly surprised to discover that this person has come with less violent intentions and tells them that she'll be down shortly. It's maybe a 2 minute long elevator ride before it dings and the nameless, faceless NPC turns towards the elevator. But it's not Rupert that exits. This is approximately a foot and a half too short, a little too white, and a little too female for Rupert.
Well, Edwin has taken his time to go and sit in the sort of main reception, some nice cushy seats that have the a table with the sort of earmarked magazines that have been left there months and months out of date, and he's thumbing through a Cosmopolitan from 2007. You know, with the sort of the aforementioned good-looking lady on the front, and comments about 101 ways that a man can satisfy their woman. He's actually looking at the advertisements for something completely different. But people seem to find it a bit strange that somebody asking for a ghost is reading what is essentially a magazine for women. He doesn't spot the entrance of the unknown woman. The nameless and faceless NPC, we shall call Jacques, yeah, will point directly towards Edwin as the one that has asked for Rupert.
Tommy will give him a sort of like little salute. Thanks, Jacques. And waltz over to this stranger. She does take a moment to size him up before reaching a hand out. Hey, I take it you're not coming here for dating advice.
Oh, he places the magazine on the ground and takes your hand. No, I'm going to catch up with an old friend. Hello. Are you?
Really?
Yeah. Are you the owner here? Build it. The manager?
Uh, Manager, I guess. Yeah. Jock told me you were looking for Rupert.
Hmm.
She
Yeah.
looks very uncomfortable.
Um, yes. I haven't seen him for some time, and well, we sort of travel around the same circles, if you will. So it'd be nice to sort of catch up with an old friend again. Yeah.
She sort of chews on her bottom lip for a minute. Um, okay, gonna rip this band-aid off quickly. Um, Rupert's no longer with us.
You're met with a hard stare, where the stare seems to go straight through you. I see. Um, hmm.
Yeah. She takes a seat, sort of stares down at her own folded hands for a minute. It's been maybe a month now.
I'm not sure what to say, to be honest. I don't know him too well, but he seemed to be quite forthright and understanding of his place in the world. Um, well, I'm not too sure what the customary thing to say is at this point. Sorry for your loss. He grimaces.
She shrugs. He had no regrets, that's all. Very quickly moves to change the subject. Uh, what drew you here? Were you a friend of his, or?
Yeah, he helped me out in a spot in a bind, and I helped him out with some advice. I recognised his handiwork when I was flying by, and just thought might stop. Just might to sort of stop off to catch up with him. So I said I haven't spoken to him for some time, and this, as I said, he disappeared off the face of the world. But this is kind of like my first stop of seeing where he's been. Obviously, I didn't realise how he has really disappeared off the face of the world. But we're we're talking about something perhaps might not be best suited for here.
Uh, yeah, do you want to head up? She sort of points her thumb towards the elevator.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I was going to get some lunch, but it seems like might need to know a bit more what's happened. And Edwin will make to get up and sort of look rather awkward.
She'll wave to the guards and lead him to the elevator. Punch in a password, it'll open, and they will be left with the extremely awkward, nearly 2-minute trip up to the top. Tommy does the elevator thing where you don't quite make eye contact.
Um, Edwin will busy himself looking at the panel as he watches the lights go up sequentially. In this case, there's a silent prayer that is said, hoping that perhaps elevator music may offer some small talk. But the weather of New York City has been the same for the past couple of weeks now. There is no subject that can be started and ended in an elevator. Nice place you have.
Yeah, it's really big.
It's certainly bigger on the inside. I mean, this elevator is huge.
Yeah, right? I wasn't expecting to live in a place like this when I moved here. Duh. Ding. Door opens. She will lead him back towards Rupert's suite. Unlock the door.
So Edwin will stand there, not so sure about what to do with himself in terms of sitting down or looking at the place. So you'll look at the decor, and you'll probably catch him when you sort of look back. He's sort of rocking backwards and forwards gently on the sort of balls of his feet.
She'll sort of gesture towards the living area. It's very, very nice with a sort of gothic style to it, of course, as can be expected. And yeah, go ahead, have a seat. You'll notice that most of the doors are closed, though if you were to peek into the kitchen for one reason or another, it is littered with about every kind of alcohol bottle you can imagine. Some empty, some not.
Probably smell the residue of alcohol as he walks past the kitchen and towards the living area. But you can hear him say, "It's yeah, nice with a capital N." I'm not much of a connoisseur for the architecture, but it's very nice. He walks in, finds a chair, and sits down.
She'll find a place to plop down as well, probably on the big, obnoxious leather couch.
I suspect that leather couch has many stories to tell. Edwin looks at it pointedly. If I
Ugh.
were, if
Knowing
I,
Rupert, I don't want to know them.
just don't place your hands in between the cushions, so you might find things you mostly regret. Change cartridges from game consoles, G strings, creatures from the nth dimension. Who knows?
Yeah, knowing him, there's probably a werewolf woman sandwiched between there somewhere.
Oh, werewolf woman. No, I think they call them furries, don't they? People that like that kind of thing.
Oh, the fursuits are in the closet, she says with a completely straight face.
Edwin doesn't get deadpan. Really, I thought Rupert would be into that kind of stuff. He does seem to be a sensationalist when it comes to, well, maybe, yeah. um, I, I mean, you must know Rupert as well if you're staying here.
Uh, yeah, he like adopted me. Shrug.
There's a slight, almost wince as you say that. It's like, my jokes are not appropriate, really, aren't they? He seems to be somewhat defeated as it lies back against on the sort of chair. It's like, I'm sorry about that. I don't know if I was being mentioned at all. My name, they call me Edwin, and I have absolutely no idea who you are. I'm so sorry, but you seem sincere.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. I'm Tommy.
Your name does sound familiar. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Ooh, dear. Oh,
Gesundheit.
thank you very much. Thank you. I'm physically embarrassed about that. Um, yeah. Your name does sound familiar. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't know him too well in that sense. And I'm not overly sure I should ask how he passed on, but are you okay here in this tower block penthouse suite with staff members looking after you?
It's a nice place. She's not very subtle about avoiding the question, but just kind of glazes over it.
Hmm. Good. Well, yeah, at least you've been taken care of. Hmm. There are you you know he was special, right? He had a uncanny insight.
An uncanny insight.
Hmm.
um, Look, dude, when you entered the building, you lit up like a big glowing dot on this map. So, like, can we skip the weird dance around the subject thing?
There's a physical sigh of relief from Edwin as he allows him now to not have to really difficultly trying to ask it whether or not Tom knows about the hidden world. Oh God. Okay. That makes sense. Fine. Yeah. I wanted to ask Rupert for his support regards to New York City, because as much as many things that involve our kind happen on our turf, there seems to be an awful lot of politics going on at the moment. Silly politics, where bigwigs from other countries are taking an interest in New York City and they want to make sure that we can self-govern before they can step in with all their really, really silly people that start sending, enforcing stupid orders and things like that. I just wanted to know what he had to say on the subject. Um, are you with a group of? Do you know any other mage in New York City?
A couple. I have my roommate, a few friends, my apprentice. I think maybe I can direct you to like 5 or 6 people off the top of my head.
That's good news. So you have some friends here that'll keep you. You can mutually protect each other if that's the case. And well done on taking an apprentice on you. I can't. don't look too. You look quite young for someone that's taking an apprentice on.
I haven't even been doing this for a year. It's kind of crazy. But he's a good kid.
Oh wow!
Kid who's older than me. She kind of shrugs.
You ever feel like it's the blind leading the blind?
A lot of the time, but nobody's dead yet. Well, nobody's dead and it's my fault yet.
Fantastic. Oh, okay. That sounds like a loaded question. That's a loaded statement, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Um, I don't recognize any paraphernalia, shall we say, on this floor that would indicate which tradition that you would hail from.
Oh, no. She just shakes her head, grins.
You're not from them, aren't you? Or have you not signed on yet?
Um, Not one of them. Me and Rupert aren't technically traditionalists.
Okay. So you're unaligned then.
We're hollow.
Oh, I don't know whether to apologize or congratulate you for making that decision. But I guess I really won't know too much about how you guys go about your business.
Kind of depends on who you ask. We don't really all subscribe to the same thing. We just happen to be better dressed than the rest of the mages.
Well, they do say robes do keep you warm at night. I mean, but I see your point. Most mages don't usually do well at dressing themselves. I mean, look at some of the Verbena, for example. They don't dress themselves at all, and some wear paint. Well, interesting, rather sensational when they go to parties. Um, Gets the choristers backed up and the cult really, really interested. But I'm talking too much. Okay, well, I I'm not too sure what to say, to be honest. I'm glad that you guys are okay, but and I think it might be. I'm looking for a spokesman or somebody that can represent um, the newer magi of the city, because the orders that we get instructing us to do things and be a certain way can't really get filtered down to the people on the streets too well, especially when they come from certain traditions that are known for having their head stuck up their ass.
Sort of gives them a weird look, considering she has manipulation one. She's very clearly trying to figure out if that was directed at her or not.
um, yeah, the robes wearing and the staff carrying Gandalfs.
Okay. I don't know a whole lot about these orders or who's supposed to be giving the orders. I just know that we don't follow them.
Ah, anti-establishmentarianism, I think it's called. Fantastic. Uh, yeah, rock out and all that stuff. But I think we have a slight problem. Um, when we do silly shit, then and it gets spotted, then the bigwigs get angry, and then they send people that starts locking people away and punishing them, and at worst taking away their magic and rather nasty things like that. And
Talking about the guy that came after that one dude.
doing what?
Um, he had some dumb fancy title. I don't remember what it was,
Um,
but what's his name? Oh, Connor, or was it Corey? Got in some trouble recently.
and another, yes, yes, two, I think, executors or executors or whatever came down of two separate traditions and decided to dispense punishment on two separate people for breaking the rules, which made it funny and pissed a bunch of people off. It annoyed the fuzzy wuzzies and it annoyed the pointy-eared fae. Um, and by sort of having our business spill out into New York City, it really made things really kind of shit. And it could have ended up in the death of several of us. So, kind of asking for help on this one. Because if we sort of play nice by the day and do our own shit at night without being seen, then it means I can keep the executors away. All right.
Fair enough. I mean, that's just the common sense shit, right? Like, don't go casting fireballs in the middle of Times Square. They're not asking us to, like, I don't know, march to their drums.
Well, I would hope not. I mean, it might appoint somebody else who comes along and decides to, put their mark on things, and like new management. You're working in a company, and then the manager gets replaced when some new manager comes along into the business, and they want to make their mark on things and show that they're worth the bonus they're getting paid. So they start to change everything, and pretty soon you have to learn a new set of rules and things that you can do, you can't do anymore. You can't speak to certain people because it's against the rules. So yeah, I kind of need some help with that. Don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's not gonna fly. I mean, I can definitely get the word out. Let's see. Right now, I know some Akashics, ecstatic cultist, a couple of orphans. Oh, you know the people at Amahara?
Yeah,
Is there a problem with the people at Amahara?
no, 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 not at all. Says through gritted teeth. And I know one Akashic, Harold.
Yeah, he's still hanging around, being as delightful as ever.
Uh-huh. Is he living on the street still?
Not sure. He doesn't look like it. I think he's like teaching or something like that. There's another Akashic, like a little baby or something, that's kind of at his heels lately, so he seems to be doing all right.
Oh, how cute. Yeah. Um, there's a place called the Diogenes Club, and it's kind of where I stay and live and stuff, and it's all official and shit. It's like the headquarters for the tradition I represent. So if you get the word out for me, that'd be fantastic. If they have any problems, or we need any mediation, or we need some, I don't know, guidance or some instruction or whatever, then I can ask them to come to Diogenes Club. Kindly ring ahead before you go. There's a bell on the sort of gates, allows you to sort of get in contact with the person inside the house. I wouldn't enter the grounds without permission. Similar setup to what you have here, but slightly more painful security is paramount nowadays, as you can guess.
Yeah, totally. I think I can do that.
Cool. You're cool being in charge of that then.
She sort of shrugs. Whatever you say, boss.
Oh, God, I'm not your boss. Please don't. Oh, all I wanted to do was go wandering around and exploring, and then I get put in the position where I'm like having to talk to people and have conversations with them about politics. This sucks.
Well, if it helps, I don't know shit about our politics. I didn't know we even had politics, so this is all just exciting, exciting news.
Well, if by exciting you mean drawing your fingernails on a chalkboard, then yeah, sure.
Something like that.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go for anything else really. I don't want to discuss what's happened otherwise, other than that. Is there anything that you've seen on the streets that are of a concern to you?
She sort of thinks for a minute. She shrugs. I don't know. I have allies out and about. We seem to be doing pretty solid. None of us are fucking up too horribly. The fuzzies seem alright. Don't know anything about the pointy eared people.
I will say this. You, if they ever make a deal with you and they get it written down on paper, you always will come out worse. It's even worse than dealing with spirits. It really is. It's like you always are going to get over a barrel somewhere, and there's always some dodgy thing that they'll do, and that'll catch you out. And then you'll be plagued by them, and they'll want to be your friend or do rather silly things like that. And that causes all sorts of troubles, all sorts of problems. They can send you mad, literally, as well as figuratively.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the brain parasites. I remember them. I've been trying to avoid them. They seem sketchy. Like, really sketchy. Like, I thought we were sketchy.
They are impossibly old. You ever heard that expression of like, God, you have an old soul, but you look so young? That applies to them in spades. Uh, that's my experience of them. You can never trust them, but well, do not fuck with the Fae. That's what they say.
Fair enough. Miles ahead of you on that one.
Fantastic news. As for the Fuzzy Wuzzies, I only know them by the name. Well, they've been introduced the name of Garu to me, and sounds deliciously ethnic. But
Garu.
mhm.
Never heard that before.
No,
They're good people.
they seem to be. It was my first time learning that name off one of their eldest. I bumped into, sort of by chance there, but that was an interesting conversation, if not slightly inebriating. Anyway, I'm digressing again. Sorry, if I appear distant, I often operate in two places at the same time. It's really a bad habit of mine. I must stop it. Um, yeah, you seem to have a grasp on things, and there's nothing too bad to worry about on the streets, and the big bad guys haven't sort of turned up and done anything naughty yet, so we're okay. If you could deliver that message, then that'll be absolutely fantastic. And if you do need to speak to me or need help, or your friends need some assistance or something, then they can come knock on my doors again with the aforementioned. Please ring the bell or before entering the grounds, just so I can meet you.
Yeah, totally. Actually, I might have something I want to ask you, if it's cool. You mentioned spirits a minute ago.
Ah, yes.
You know a lot about them?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Hmm. My apprentice, he seems to show some talent for that kind of shit, but like I don't really know anything about it.
Okay. Um, is it something that you want me to meet him, or you want something from me to help you instruct him, or what?
Yeah, just something to tell him, like basic shit that'll make sure he doesn't die at the hand of something I can't see. That would be
Gotcha.
nice.
Okay. Most spirits like deals. Spirits, we like to we like to order spirits according to their level, to their power and their station within the courts that they have. So they have a court structure with some of the most powerfulest being at the top. Uh, Things like we can see the big things that are sort of like fundamental to human beings, like the sun or the moon or the sky or the earth, have the big courts, and then they disseminate down like families. And the bottom rung, I like to call them pages, and they're like you think about the sort of feudal states, they're the ones that go and fetch you things and bring you your armor or your sort of shine your sword for you or shoe your horse for you or make your bed for you. The lowest of the low. Even though they are quite potent. They can be quite potent in their in their own right, depending on what kind of spirit you're speaking to. And everybody, all spirits like deals of some nature, shape or form. So it's always wise to treat a spirit of a higher as it's a higher station. So say nice things to it, flatter it, offer it shimonage in some form, like something that it would like. I don't know, a spirit of a, a thievery might want you to go and steal something as a way of sort of an offering it to him, to it, to sort of cheer it on a bit. Or spirit of fire might, I don't know, light a candle or set fire to something small. These kind of things. They can be called. They have a name, and they have a true name. And the true name is what you can use to bind their wills to yours if you wish to. And it's like the ultimate bargaining chip. I'm not sure what else I can really say. I mean, there's like there's a million and a half spirits up there for every single emotion and every single state of being that humans know and live and exist in. That can be very dangerous, and summoning them is always a pain in the ass.
All right. I think that's a good place to start. I appreciate it. You know, trade of info for some services, right? She grins.
Yes, that's pretty much it. Um, I can I can instruct the speaking to and not upsetting spirits in my own way, I guess, and it'd be very regimented towards the way I understand how they work. But I mean, if you wish to speak to your apprentice and he does need further guidance, then you can send him to the Diogenes Club, and I can see what I can do.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it, and he definitely will too.
Awesome, good news. Um, Maybe if I do you have anything else to ask at all? I think I've taken up too much of your time.
What tradition did you say you were representing?
The ones with the heads up their ass. Order of Hermes.
So, oh, I see. See, I was thinking of nine traditions with heads up their asses. She grins.
It
Huh,
does
never
appear
met a
to be.
hermetic before.
Well, hello. I probably am not the best hermetic to meet in terms of a representation of my tradition.
Well, not showing up in Gandalf robes is kind of a good thing.
That's true, but we'll see. I do own a set of robes, but I've not got the hat.
Well, all right, man. she's gonna grab a sticky note, write down a phone number on it, label it Tommy, and hand it to him. You can catch me at this number literally anytime.
Okay, he takes a paper and it's like, ah, cool. So I just pick up the handset and dial this number, yeah, and then they'll go straight through to you.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. I don't need to put any other numbers before 07. Is that right? You get the
No.
impression, clear as day that he doesn't really know what to do with mobile phone numbers, but he takes it and pockets it. Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Yep, I'll tell the people at Amahara you said hi.
Yeah, Jade's still there, isn't she?
Yeah, of course.
Hmm. Cool. Oh well. Do well by your apprentice, and when they do silly things like falling in love with a being of as old as time itself, might want to next time suggest that you don't let them follow their heart's desire and cause anguish and headaches for you in the future.
I'll keep that in mind.
And with that, Edwin will stand up and look towards trying to figure out how to get out. Um,
Oh,
that
this way.
okay.
She'll lead him to the elevator, punch in a code, and just the first floor, and you can walk out.
Thank you, um, Tommy.
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 Yeah.
Uh, and it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
He waves, and then the elevators close.
And Tommy will go back over to her stuff, pull up her laptop, then grab her phone, shoot a couple of text messages to the nerds that she needs to speak to. I think that is a good place to end our scene.